Hi, I'm Marcus. I've been working at Techline Solutions for 5 years now, grinding my way up from junior analyst to senior project manager. I thought I had it all figured out. Work hard, deliver results, and promotions follow. Turns out, I was dead wrong about that last part. Marcus, got a second? My manager Derek called from his office door. I saved my work and walked over. Sure, what's up? Close the door, will you? Derek gestured to the chair across from his desk. He was in his mid-40s, always wore expensive suits, and had this way of making everything sound like he was doing you a favor. So, I know you applied for the director position. Yeah, I did. I've been leading the team for 2 years now, and the numbers speak for themselves. 30% increase in client retention, brought in 4 major accounts. I know, he interrupted, waving his hand dismissively. Your performance has been adequate. Adequate? I leaned forward. Derek, I've exceeded every metric you've set for me. Look, Marcus, here's the thing. He leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled. The board decided to go with someone who has a more diverse skill set. Jennifer from the Chicago office is getting the position. Jennifer? My stomach dropped. She's been with the company for 2 years. I've trained half her team. She has an MBA from Stanford, Derek said smoothly. That carries weight. I have an MBA too from Northwestern and 5 years of proven results here. Derek's smile didn't reach his eyes. The decision's final, Marcus. I advocated for you, believe me, but my hands were tied. I stood up slowly. Right. Thanks for letting me know. That evening, I met my colleague Sarah at our usual coffee shop. She took one look at my face and winced. They passed you over, didn't they? She asked. Jennifer from Chicago got it. Jennifer? Sarah nearly choked on her latte. Are you kidding me, Marcus? You've been carrying this department on your back. Derek said she has better qualifications. Her Stanford MBA apparently trumps everything I've accomplished. Sarah shook her head. That's garbage. You know what I heard last month? What? I was working late doing the quarterly expense reports, and I noticed something weird. She lowered her voice. There were these vendor payments going to a company I'd never heard of, Nexus Consulting Services, big amounts too, like $50,000 every month. Maybe it's a new contractor? That's what I thought, so I asked Tom in finance about it the next day. He got really uncomfortable, said it was approved by Derek and I shouldn't worry about it. Why would Tom be uncomfortable about a legitimate vendor? Exactly what I thought. Sarah pulled out her phone. So I did some digging, light digging, nothing crazy. I looked up Nexus Consulting Services. And? The business registration is public record. Want to guess who the owner is? My pulse quickened. Who? Derek's brother-in-law, a guy named Richard Paulson. I stared at her. You're saying Derek's been approving payments to his own family? $600,000 over the past year, Marcus, and here's the kicker. I can't find any actual work product from Nexus. No reports, no deliverables, nothing. It's like they're getting paid for nothing. That's fraud. Yeah, Sarah said quietly. That's exactly what it is. And you want to know what else? The timing of these payments increased right around when Derek started pushing for that new performance review system. The one where he gets final say on promotions. My hands clenched around my coffee cup. He's stealing from the company and blocking promotions so there's less scrutiny. I think so, and I think he passed you over because you're too detail-oriented. A director would have access to approve expenses, review contracts. You'd have found this in a week. Do you have proof of this? Copies of the expense reports, yes. The business registration documents, yes. But I need more before we can take this anywhere. This is serious, Marcus. If we're wrong. We're not wrong, I said, and I'm going to prove it. The next morning, I went straight to Tom in finance. He was at his desk, surrounded by spreadsheets, looking as stressed as always. Tom, we need to talk about Nexus Consulting Services. His face went pale. Marcus, I can't what? Can't tell me about the fraudulent payments Derek's been approving? Can't explain why we're paying his brother-in-law's shell company $600,000 a year? Tom looked around frantically. Keep your voice down. You don't understand the position I'm in. Then explain it to me. He rubbed his face. Derek came to me 8 months ago. Said Nexus was handling some sensitive consulting work. Competitive analysis stuff that needed to stay confidential. He insisted on minimal documentation. And you just went along with it? No, I pushed back. I asked for contracts, deliverables, something. He told me to process the payments or he'd have me replaced with someone who understood executive discretion. So he threatened you. My wife is pregnant with twins, Marcus. We just bought a house. I can't afford to lose this job. Tom's voice cracked. But I kept records. Every email, every conversation I could document. I knew this was wrong. I need those records, Tom. If Derek finds out I gave you anything, he's not going to find out. Not until we have everything we need. Tom hesitated, then opened his drawer and pulled out a flash drive. Everything's on here. Emails, payment authorizations, the works. There's also correspondence with the auditing firm. Derek delayed the annual audit twice this year, claimed it was budget constraints. But really, he was buying time. Yeah, the new audit is scheduled for next month. He won't be able to hide this much longer. I pocketed the flash drive. Thank you, Tom. That afternoon, I tracked down another colleague, Rachel, from procurement. She was in her office, typing furiously. Rachel, you handle vendor onboarding, right? She looked up. Yeah, why? What can you tell me about Nexus Consulting Services? Her expression darkened immediately. That company is a joke. I refused to process their initial vendor application because they didn't meet any of our requirements. No proof of insurance, no references, barely had a website. But they're still a vendor. Derek overrode me, sent me this nasty email saying I was obstructing critical business operations and that he'd handle the vendor relationship directly. Took it completely out of procurement's hands. Do you still have that email? Of course, I keep everything. You never know when you'll need to cover yourself. She pulled it up on her computer. Want me to forward it to you? Please. As I walked back to my desk, Derek's assistant Linda stopped me in the hallway. Marcus, can I talk to you for a second? Sure, what's up? She pulled me into an empty conference room. I heard you asking questions about Nexus. Word travels fast. People talk. Look, I like you, Marcus. You've always been decent to me. So I'm going to tell you something I probably shouldn't. She took a deep breath. Last month, Derek had me book a trip to the Bahamas, told me to charge it to the Nexus account, said it was a consulting retreat. It was a vacation. Him, his wife, his brother-in-law Richard, and Richard's wife. 2 weeks at a 5-star resort. He used company funds for a personal vacation. $60,000. I have the receipts because I processed the reimbursement. He made me code it as strategic planning services. My jaw clenched. Linda, would you be willing to testify to this? If it comes to that, yes, I'm tired of covering for him. This job isn't worth compromising my integrity. That evening, I met Sarah at her apartment. I spread out everything I'd gathered on her dining table. Flash drives, forwarded emails, screenshots. This is more than enough, Sarah said, scanning through the documents. Derek's been running a systematic fraud scheme, fake vendor, personal expenses disguised as business costs, threats to employees who questioned him. We need to take this to corporate ethics, maybe legal. We should go higher than that, Sarah suggested. This is fraud, criminal fraud. We should go to the authorities first, then corporate. You think it's that serious? Marcus, this is embezzlement, wire fraud, possibly tax fraud. We're talking federal crimes. If we just report it internally, Derek might find a way to cover it up or destroy evidence. We need to protect ourselves and make sure this gets investigated properly. I nodded slowly. You're right. Tomorrow morning, I'm calling the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. I'm with you, Sarah said. Whatever happens, I'm with you. 2 weeks later, federal agents showed up at the office. The timing was perfect. Middle of a staff meeting with Derek holding court like he always did. So as I was saying, we need to focus on efficiency. Derek stopped mid-sentence as 2 agents in suits walked into the conference room. Derek Henderson? The female agent asked. Yes? Who are you? Special Agent Morrison, FBI. This is Special Agent Chen. We need to speak with you about your financial activities at this company, specifically regarding Nexus Consulting Services. The color drained from Derek's face. I don't know what you're talking about. We have documentation suggesting you've been approving fraudulent payments to a company owned by your brother-in-law. We'd like to ask you some questions. This is ridiculous, Marcus! Derek's eyes found mine across the table. Did you do this? Did you put them up to this? I met his gaze steadily. I reported what I found. Fraud, embezzlement, theft from this company. You ungrateful, I gave you opportunities. I mentored you. You passed me over for a promotion to protect your scam, I said. You threatened Tom to keep him quiet. You've been stealing from this company for over a year. It's not stealing. That money was for legitimate consulting services, Agent Morrison interrupted. Mr. Henderson, we've examined Nexus Consulting Services. There are no employees except your brother-in-law, no office, no work product. You've approved over $600,000 in payments to a shell company. We can explain all of that. We also have evidence of personal expenses charged to the company. A vacation to the Bahamas, for example. Derek's face twisted. You don't understand how business works at this level. Sometimes you need discretion, flexibility. What I understand, Agent Morrison said, is fraud. We're going to need you to come with us for questioning. I want to call my lawyer. You're free to do that. But we're executing a search warrant for your office and company records. You can cooperate now or make this harder on yourself. Derek stood up, his chair scraping loudly. He pointed at me. You're going to regret this, Marcus. I will destroy you. I have connections. I have lawyers. When this is over, you'll never work in this industry again. Are you threatening him? Agent Chen asked sharply. I'm telling him the truth. He's making a huge mistake. Jessica from HR stepped forward. Mr. Henderson, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the premises. Your access is being terminated effective immediately. You can't do this to me. We can and we are, Jessica said firmly. The company has been cooperating with this investigation. We've reviewed the evidence, and it's clear that you've violated multiple policies and potentially multiple laws. Derek looked around the room wildly, seeing the expressions on everyone's faces. You all believe this? You think I'm some kind of criminal? Sarah spoke up. The evidence is pretty clear, Derek. Sarah, you too? After everything I've done for this team? You mean after you stole from the company we all work for? Sarah shot back. After you threatened Tom and blocked Marcus's promotion to cover your tracks? Derek lunged toward me, but Agent Chen stepped between us. Mr. Henderson, I strongly suggest you calm down. This isn't over, Derek shouted. Marcus, I swear. That's enough, Agent Morrison said. Mr. Henderson, you need to come with us now. As they escorted Derek out, he kept yelling threats. You're finished, Marcus, you hear me? Finished. The conference room fell silent after they left. Everyone stared at me. Well, Tom said finally, that was intense. The next 3 weeks were a whirlwind of interviews, depositions, and meetings with federal prosecutors. The FBI's investigation uncovered even more than I'd found. Derek had been running similar schemes at his previous 2 companies, always moving on before getting caught. I was sitting in the break room when Jessica found me. Marcus, got a minute? Sure. She sat down across from me. I wanted to personally thank you for coming forward. What you did took courage. I just reported what I found. You did more than that. You gathered evidence, you protected other employees, and you made sure this went through proper channels. A lot of people would have just looked the other way. Derek was stealing from all of us. Someone had to do something. Well, I have some news. The board met yesterday. They've asked me to offer you the director position, the real one, not the one Derek was blocking. I looked at her in surprise. Really? Really? You've more than earned it. Your work speaks for itself, and your integrity speaks even louder. What do you say? I say yes, thank you, Jessica. You start next Monday. Also, there's something else. Derek's assets are being seized as part of the criminal case. The company is pursuing a civil lawsuit to recover the stolen funds. You'll probably be called as a witness. I expected that. Are you prepared for it? Derek's lawyers are going to try to discredit you. Let them try. I have documentation for everything. A few days later, I was leaving the office when I saw Derek waiting by my car. He looked terrible, unshaven, wrinkled suit, dark circles under his eyes. Marcus, please just hear me out. You need to leave, Derek. 5 minutes, that's all I'm asking. His voice was desperate. I made mistakes, okay? I admit that. But we can fix this. You could tell them you were mistaken, that you misunderstood the vendor relationship. Are you asking me to lie to federal investigators? I'm asking you to think about my family. I have kids, Marcus. My daughter's starting college next year. My son is in high school. If I go to prison, you should have thought about them before you committed fraud. Everyone makes mistakes. Haven't you ever done something wrong? Not embezzling $600,000 wrong, not threatening my coworkers wrong, not blocking someone's career to cover my crimes wrong. Derek's expression hardened. So that's it? You're really going to do this? You're going to ruin my entire life over some paperwork? I'm going to testify truthfully about your criminal activities. The ruining is all on you. I apologized. What more do you want? I don't want anything from you, Derek. Your apology means nothing. You're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. That's not true. It is true. If the FBI hadn't shown up, you'd still be stealing. You'd still be blocking promotions and threatening employees. Your apology is just another manipulation. Derek stepped closer. You're making a huge mistake. My lawyers are going to tear you apart on the stand. Then I'll see you in court. Now get away from my car. He stood there for a long moment, then finally walked away, shoulders slumped. The next week, I met Sarah and Tom for lunch to celebrate my promotion. To Marcus, Sarah raised her glass. The new director and the guy who took down a crook. Tom clinked his glass against hers. I still can't believe you actually did it. You went straight to the FBI. It was the right thing to do, I said. Derek was stealing from all of us, from the company we've built our careers at. How are you feeling about the trial? Sarah asked. Ready. I have all my documentation organized. I've been working with the prosecutor. Derek's going to face real consequences. Good, Tom said. He deserves it. And Marcus? Thank you for including me in the investigation, for protecting me when you easily could have left me out of it. You kept records even when Derek threatened you. That took guts. Sarah smiled. You know what the best part is? Derek thought he was invincible, thought he could do whatever he wanted because he was in charge. But he forgot that integrity matters more than position. Speaking of position, Tom said, how's the new office? Bigger than my old one, and I'm implementing some changes, starting with transparent vendor review processes and mandatory ethics training. Think that'll prevent something like this from happening again? I hope so, but more than that, I want to create an environment where people feel safe speaking up, where they know that doing the right thing won't destroy their careers. Sarah leaned back. You're going to be a great director, Marcus. You already are. The trial was scheduled for 3 months later. Derek pled guilty to avoid a longer sentence, but he still got 5 years in federal prison and had to pay back everything he stole. His brother-in-law got 3 years for his part in the scheme. I never saw Derek again after that day by my car, and I was fine with that. Sometimes people ask me if I regret turning him in, if I feel bad about what happened to his family. The answer is no. Derek made his choices. He chose to steal. He chose to threaten people. He chose to put his greed above everything else. I just chose to hold him accountable. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have spoken up or stayed silent? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more true stories about standing up to toxic people and demanding accountability.